Hello, so today we are going to be looking at action potentials. So action potentials involve neurons and sending neurotransmitters across the synapse to send messages. Okay, so this graph is commonly used in a lot of exam questions. So I think it's important that we get our head around this graph. So this graph is showing us the changes that occur in the membrane potential of a neuron during the generation of an action potential. So firstly, at this point here and at this point here, we've got a resting potential. And a resting potential, the key point about that is that we are polarised. So it's polarised there. That'll probably be about minus 70 MV or minus 60 depending, compared to the outside. So here there's going to be a higher concentration of sodium ions inside the cell and a higher concentration of potassium ions inside the cell. Okay? Trying to write this, not much room is there, so here at this point we've got to remember that we have high concentration of sodium outside and high concentration of potassium inside. Okay. So what's happening then is that we're going to have a concentration gradient forming. So we're going to have about here, we will have sodium ion channels open. So sodium ion channels open. And we are going to have it's depolarized. You can see that I just wrote that it's depolarized. Here we've got depolarization. So it's less negative as it reaches the threshold, probably about 50, minus 50 MV. We're going to be depolarized. So then, about here, what's going to happen is positive feedback. It's going to cause the nearby voltage gated sodium ion channels to open, which we've already said. So we're going to have lots of sodium ions flooding in. So the inside of the cell is going to be more positively charged. So we're going to have sodium ions enter cell. So it's going to be positively charged. And because this is positive feedback, that's just going to be reinforced. It's going to get more and more sodium ions in there. So the potential difference across the plasma membrane will reach plus 40 about here. So we're going to keep on rising, more sodium ion channels, until we get to this point. And where we've got lots of positive charges inside the cell. So once we get past this point, our sodium ion channels are going to close. So sodium close because there's just too much of it now, and we're going to have potassium channels opening because we're wanting to cancel out that charge difference. So potassium ions are going to diffuse out of the cell. So potassium are going to go out. So that'll bring the potential difference back to negative. And what happens? I'm going to wipe some of this off because there's just not enough room. So what's going to happen here is we're going to give it repolarization. And that is because we're going to have potassium ions diffusing out, and the potential difference inside the cell is going to be more negative, which you can see as we're decreasing the membrane potential. And here we can see that we've actually gone lower than what we originally started with our resting potential, and we call this overshooting. So we've overshooted because by allowing more potassium ions out of the cell, our membrane potential has gone more negative than we wanted it to. And that is being called, it is hyperpolarized. Hyperpolarized. Okay. And then after this, we're going to have our original membrane potential restored, and the cell returns to its resting state. So if we think then about where our membrane is most permeable to sodium ions, probably about here, because we've got more sodium ions. Oh, sorry, no, potassium, should I say, because we're lowering that membrane potential, so it's going to overshoot at the bottom. And that's about it for this graph. Yep. Thank you for watching, and if you want to, we'll have a look at local currents, refractory periods, and resting potentials in more detail in another video. Thank you.